In honor of April, Parental Alienation Awareness Month, I wanted to show a video about a pre-pandemic event that was held from May 1st to May 3rd, 2019, the Parents' March on Washington, in support of family court reform on behalf of alienated parents.
Liberty State Park, what a great place to start a movement like this. The place where our country paid tribute to those that fought, gave up their lives for the liberties we had. Thank you for coming here today, which is promising to be a tremendous three-day event in Washington, D.C. We're here about action. We're fed up with what's been happening to our children. A three-day event entitled, quote, Parent March on Washington, end quote, is underway in our nation's capital on May 1, 2, and 3, 2019. Its goal is to shift focus from parent-child separations at our borders to parent-child separations here among Americans in our nation's divorce and family courts, also known as parental alienation. The human rights violations in these courts are far more insidious because children are being programmed to hate their moms and dads while avoiding them permanently. The attached report entitled, quote, Federal Funding Epidemic, end quote, explains how this is occurring. A second report, which we call the, quote, the Melissa Report, end quote, puts a face on this epidemic through select ordeals from the millions which exist across the states. We're asking Congress and the Justice Department to conduct oversight hearings and investigate the human rights violations occurring as a result of this funding epidemic. Every state or district in the United States is likely represented among the participants of this three-day affair. On May 1st, 2019, various American parent caravans are headed to Washington, with one leaving Liberty State Park, New Jersey at 10 a.m. On May 2nd, 2019, we are engaged in a lobby day to present our reports to every member of Congress. We have experts in law, politics, education, and psychology addressing our group at the Congressional Ballroom of the Holiday Inn Capitol at 7 p.m. that evening. On Friday, our march leaves Lafayette Square Park at the White House and it proceeds down Pennsylvania Avenue to the Capitol. A candlelight vigil that evening is intended to pay respect to all the veterans, parents, and children lost to suicide and premature death as a result of this epidemic. Please take care of our own parents in vital need of reform and assistance. Respectfully submitted, Parents of America. We are simply parents of America. It's time to pay attention to us. And if you don't, we're going to remove you from office. That's what we do. It's what we do best. This identifies the problem. The federal government is funding an epidemic. Lawyers, judges, service providers are getting rich off of us. But this puts a face to it. We're tired of, corruption in politics. It's time for the people they were elected to serve. I'm going to go in there and say, the Parent March on Washington is tomorrow, and we are here from all over the country to put you on notice that we want an investigation, and you're going to have an impact. It's a country self-governed. That means we rule, but you got to get in their faces one way or the other. I know there are people out there, because I know they talk to me. They said, we're going to do some amazing things. We are going to get in their faces. Because this is what's going to change America. This is what you need to focus on. And they will finally do a story on us. We should have media covering this all over the place. We are the moms and dads of America. We don't have to try to get respect. We have to respect us because we've had enough. And you know what? I think it's working. And why do you think it's working? Because they have moms and dads. They're going through all of this. They recognize our message. It shouldn't be so hard for the media to cover this. When enough of these are passed to people around Congress the way we just described it, they're going to start talking. And a call is going to be made to the White House and elsewhere. Something's going on here, okay? The Revolutionary War wasn't started with a giant group of people that suddenly showed up on a battlefield. It was started among people who got together and said, we've had enough. And we won over a great country that we have today. Sadly, we've lost so much of those principles that made this country great. And we are the people that have to instill back in this country what our principles were all about. The American way of life, the principles, the constitutional rule of law that we've put forth as our government is expected to observe. We're sick and tired of it. It's time to start paying attention to the moms and dads who are suffering so immensely in these courts. We gotta stop it somewhere. Who's gonna stop this? It's the moms and dads of America. I believe that. I truly believe that's what's gonna change this country. And we parents, we can't deal with this anymore. It's gotten so out of control. So this three-day event, which was conceived in December, and through you good people that have made this possible, this is an epidemic, and it's affecting families all across America. in every way. And, you know, future generations, why don't we look at that for just a second? I mean, you know, children we will never see, decades, maybe even centuries down the road. We are the ones that are the pioneers for them. And I think that's why we're doing this.
In the court process, there's a winner and a loser. Well, you know what? That's not what families need. They're not in a jousting contest. Their goal is to continue parenting their children.
Arguably one of the most unconstitutional acts executed by the family court system involves the child support system and the use of debtor prisons when parents allegedly owe child support debt that they cannot afford to pay. It is critical in this fight that we educate the public and the legislators as to why this particular child support enforcement tactic violates the Constitution.
No group of citizens is above the law. We all are pointing out that, you know, there are these rules that the judges are supposed to follow, or the Supreme Court says they're supposed to follow. Well, the Supreme Court should overturn this doctrine of judicial immunity, but it hasn't done that.
Become a volunteer with your local committee. Be a committee person. Every committee across the country has a Facebook group where every video that we're creating can be posted, every documentary.
Thank you, everybody. I want to say hello to all you folks in the White House. Yeah. We are the moms and dads of America. Enough Mueller. Investigate family courts. Investigate them and stop the human rights violations here in America and at the borders. We are American parents. Respect us and honor us as we honor you. We were all over Congress. We met with members of Congress. We had all their investigative agencies. We had a success there. When you go down the streets of the greatest thoroughfare in America and the free world, Pennsylvania Avenue, between the White House and the Capitol, go down that street with pride. And when you're going down there, there'll be cars and everything, people honking at you, and they don't know about this because of the mainstream media and their definition of how we own America.
What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! 1, 2, 3! Set our children free! 4, 5, 6! The system needs fixed! 7, 8, 9! The children are mine! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now!
When you're going down the streets and they see these messages, that they're going to see this and they say, where are you guys? Where have you been? And they're going to applaud us. And so what you do is say, join us. Most people don't know that the parenting right is a liberty right. It's a right that the Supreme Court of the United States has repeatedly and unanimously said is the most important. The oldest liberty interest protected by our Constitution. That Constitution is our law. You can't change that law. It's because we that exercised those rights and made families happen that we have the country we have today. And that's why we're here today. And it's going to grow. It's going to grow. This is just the beginning of a great movement. We have been destroyed. We have been financially bankrupted. And we want to be there. They're here because they believe in this and they want us to do what they can't do. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And if they won't listen to us, we're going to come back again and again and again. Because we're the people who created this country. We raised children, we raised families, they went to work, they went to college, we were there, we were on either side, we loved them. We did everything we were supposed to do. And that's why we have to take the action. The FBI building and the Justice Department building, which are the entities we want to do these investigations. If we get these investigations, heads are going to roll. I'm convinced of it. I'm fighting tooth and nail to make all this happen. I really haven't got a lot of resistance. I think because if you play them right, they're with you. And I think they like what that. I really believe, folks, they like what we're doing. I'm simply saying that they messed with the wrong person with me. And they messed with the wrong people. They messed with the wrong people. We're not going to let them do this anymore.
Hi, my name is Natalie, and I am a non-custodial mother. I founded an organization called Amazing Mothers Without Custody.
I have become a member of the board of the National Strategic Management Board of Human Rights to move these human rights, because that's what this is. This is an issue of human rights.
That's why all these
Not parents' rights, not mothers' rights, not fathers' rights, not children's rights. These are foundational human rights.
We believed in the wisdom of the judges who preside and the attorneys that defend us. We were unaware of the reality we would face. Corruption, abuse of power, and financial destitution. The mantra of in the best interest of the children is a farce. In reality, it's a system whose true best interest is profit.
Changing the direction of our divorce culture is what the judiciary has done. They are taking a huge risk with your lives. None of that really works for the culture of America.
If we do not work together, we're not going to get change. It's going to take you and everybody out there, especially on social media, on Facebook, on YouTube, to share every single thing that we do.
Now we know that overall we're looking at about 22 million parents are erased from their children's lives. This is the core policy right here in making this change happen.
Every one of you has to take a leadership position, because I've talked to you and I know you're all leaders, and I know people are going to listen to you when you go home.
But then they make a false accusation against you with the intention of receiving your children and getting custody of your children.
I've had to educate people across West Virginia to make them realize that our children are more of an incentive. Government money, they're trafficking children through our state, taking them from families. No warrants, no nothing. I am an alienated mom. I have had my timeshare removed without reason or way to get it back.
I will tell you that they track us, foster children, so that they can remove our children on purpose for financial funding.
Are our lives in the hands of these family court tyrants? Are you feeling crushed? Tell me, please tell me. Are you tired of being crushed by the hands of fake family court gods?
Because we want people to have an opportunity to do better than we did, to lose less than we did.
Yes, my name is Daniel Pura. I've been alienated from my daughter past 7 years. And my mom also. Okay.
If you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. And corruption is legal. These are my two favorite signs that I carry.
No, it's not an accident. It's not oversight. It's a very willful, wanton act of defiance.
Until I die, I won't give up on my daughter.
So we dedicate this to those who are lost, those who are not here, who should have been here.
I ask if we could all turn on our flashlights on our phones and remove our hats and bow our heads. We're going to hold a 2-minute moment of silence for all the parents like Chris Mackney, who did not give up on life, but rather a government who does not want to fix its broken systems for our own children, like my daughter Gabriella Boyd, who at 2.5 years old became another victim to the system and died prematurely on April 28, 2018.
And I can remember when I was in Washington back in 2008, the very first event I came to, and my two daughters there. And my eldest, she's a very jealous person of her dad. And everybody was doing what you guys, the same kind of a crowd. This is 12, 13 years ago. And my eldest she ran and jumped in my arms. And she looked back at the audience and she said, Dada, Dada, Dada. This was her daddy. And she just didn't like the fact that other people were getting his attention. She's called me 3 times in the last 5 years. Thank you. And I'm going to close by saying that everything I've done here is for my daughters, Kristen and Cassandra. Thank you all. God bless you.
Thanks for watching. Join us for another YouTube premiere every Tuesday at 7 p.m.